Morning to one and all present here. Today we are going to discuss a famous tragedy of Shakespeare, Macbeth. The play begins with a brief appearance of a trio of witches and then moves to a military camp where the Scottish King Duncan hears the news that his generals Macbeth and Banquo has defeated two separate invading armies, and the witches prophesy that Macbeth will be made a Thane of Cawdor and eventually King of Scotland. They also prophesy that Macbeth's companion Banquo will beget a line of Scottish kings, although Banquo will never become king himself. Then the witches vanish. Banquo and Macbeth treat their prophecy skeptically until some of Duncan's men come to thank two generals for their victories. So, Macbeth is intrigued by the possibility that the remainder of the witches' prophecy that he will be crowned king might be true, but he is uncertain what to expect. He visits the King Duncan and they plan to dine together at Inverness, Macbeth's castle. That night, Macbeth rides ahead to his wife, Lady Macbeth, telling her all that has happened. Lady Macbeth suffers none of her husband's uncertainty, and she desires the kingship for himself and wants him to murder Duncan in order to obtain it. When Macbeth arrives at Inverness, she overrides all of her husband's objection and persuades him to kill the king the very night. He and Lady Macbeth plan to get Duncan's two chamberlains drunks so they will be blackout. The next morning, they will blame the murder on the chamberlains, who will be defenseless and they will remember nothing. While Duncan is asleep, Macbeth stabs him. Despite his doubts and a number of supernatural portents, including a vision of bloody dagger, when Duncan's death is discovered the next morning, Macbeth kills the chamberlains, ostensibly out of rage at their crime, and easily assumes the kingship. Duncan's son Malcolm and Donalbain flee to England and Ireland, respectively, fearing that whoever killed Duncan desires that their demise as well. Fearful of the witch's prophecy, the Banquo's heirs will seize the throne. Macbeth hires a group of murderers to kill Banquo and his son Fleance. They ambush Banquo on his way to a royal feast, but they fail to kill Fleance and escapes into the night. At the feast that night, Banquo goes to visit Macbeth. When he sees the ghost, Macbeth raves fearfully, startling his guests, who include most of the great Scottish nobility. Lady Macbeth tried to neutralize the damage, but Macbeth's kingship resides increasing resistance from his nobles, and frightened Macbeth goes to the witches in their cavern. So that they show him a sequence of demons and spirits who present him with future prophecies. He must be aware of Macduff, a Scottish nobleman who opposed Macbeth's accession to the throne, and then he is incapable of being harmed by any man born of woman. He will be safe until Birnam Wood becomes to Dunsinane Castle. So Macbeth is relieved and feels secure because he knows all men are born of women and that forests cannot move. Then he learned that Macduff has fled to England to join Malcolm. Macbeth orders the Macduff castle be seized, and most cruelly, the Lady Macbeth and her children is murdered. When news of his family execution reaches Macduff in England, he is stricken with griefs and vows revenge. The invasion has support of the Scottish nobles, who, appalled and frightened by Macbeth's tyrannical, murderous behavior, Lady Macbeth meanwhile becomes plagued and fits of sleepwalking, in which she bemoans that she believes to be bloodstains in her hands. Before Macbeth's opponent arrives, Macbeth receives news that she has killed herself, causing him to sink into a deep, pessimistic despair. Nevertheless, he awaits the king English and fortifies Dunsinane, to which he seems to have withdrawn in order to defend himself, certain that the witch's prophecies guarantee his invincibility. He is struck numb with fear, however, he learns that the English army is advancing on Dunsinane. Shielded with burrows cut off from Birnam is indeed becoming Dunsinane, fulfilling half of the witch's prophecy. So battle continues. Though he is realized that he is doomed, Macbeth continues to fight until Macduff kills and beheads him. Malcolm, now become the King of England, declares his benevolent intentions of the country and invites all to see him crowned at Scone. Thank you.